You're watching KOCO 5. Breaking news is happening now.
We are following some tragic breaking news at 4 o'clock. 4 kids have been hit. 5 kids have been hit by a car outside of Moore High School, and we know one of them has died. Several others in very serious condition. We're told the vehicle left the scene but has been taken into custody after that vehicle fled. We are joined now by Sergeant Jeremy Lewis with the Moore Police Department to break down exactly what happened. Hi, Jeremy. What's the latest here?
Right now, we do have one student that is confirmed a fatality. It looks like it happened pretty close to as school was letting out. As to why they were either crossing the street or in the street, I'm not sure at this time. We have a vehicle that was stopped. It's a couple of blocks away. That was the vehicle that struck the students. There are multiple students, I believe 6 students that were hit by this vehicle. Some of those are in very critical condition. We are attempting to Medi-Flight them out at this time, but we do have one confirmed that is a fatality.
What are the injuries like for those you said very, very critical? What are you seeing?
Consistent with being hit by a car. It looks like at a fairly decent rate of speed. Just serious injuries. Okay.
And again, I'm going to take notes too. 6 students hit. At least one confirmed dead. Do you know age of students? Are they more high school students?
These are all more high school students. As far as their ages, I don't have that right now.
Okay, where exactly did this happen? I know Moore High School is there at Main and Eastern. Where exactly did this crash happen?
This is closer to the Fieldhouse area, the sports area. It's the 1000 block of East Main. There's a duck pond. It's basically directly in front of the duck pond. This is an area where a lot of kids have after-school activities and sports. So as far as why the students were where they were, I don't know, but there were a lot of athletic students that were down in this area as we arrived. So not sure if that had anything to do with where they were at, but that's kind of the location.
Okay, yeah, so the call came out about 3:30, about the same time that final bell rings. I know that area very busy for athletics. You mentioned the pond over there. I'm guessing these roads are going to be shut down for quite some time.
Yes, Main Street from Eastern east will be closed probably to Morgan, and then there's numerous streets that run south off of Main Street. All of those will be closed as well.
We're taking a live look here, and we see the crime scene tape up and one of the police cruisers blocking off the street there. Jeremy, I know people watching are going to wonder, was this malicious? Was this intentional? We know the driver left the scene. Do you have any indication as to why this happened? Was it an accident?
I don't know at this time. They didn't stay at the scene. Why they left or what exactly happened is something that we have numerous investigators, accident investigators, detectives here that will be looking into that, but we do have the vehicle and the person driving it, so we should know that shortly.
Are you considering that person a suspect at this time?
At this time, they are the suspect in the crash, yes.
Okay, so 6 students hit total, and one of them confirmed fatal, is that correct? Jeremy?
Yes, that is correct.
That is correct. Okay. You know, my first job was in Moore, very familiar with the athletics there. It's a very close-knit community. I'm assuming parents are starting to arrive. What is the mood like there? I'm sure everyone is, number one, shocked, but devastated.
Shocked and devastated. All these officers, the faculty, the firemen. I mean, you know, it's still, you know, a close community. It's very difficult, especially whenever you're dealing with high school students, but you know, we know a lot of these students and parents, and yeah, it's really shocking and just horrible right now.
All right, Jeremy, I can hear the emotion in your voice. It's just hard to report. Sergeant Jeremy Lewis with the Moore Police Department, thank you for your time. We'll let you get back to what's going to be a tough day there. I want to now go to KOCO's Paris Jones, who is live on scene. Paris, you just got there. What are you learning and what are you seeing?
Yeah, Abigail, just got to the scene. We saw when we got here about 3 ambulances go by. Going to have you take a look down. We're near Eastern and Main Street, right across the street from Moore High School, where that scene is. You can see about a half a mile down the road. There's a lot of a huge police presence down there. You can see the emergency management is over here too. They had the road blocked off here on Main Street, right across the street from Moore High School right now. Still trying to piece together what exactly happened and also get some reaction from people nearby. There were a lot of spectators around when we got here on the scene as well. Once I finish here, I want to talk to some of them to see what they saw and figure out what happened. Obviously, a devastating tragedy here today in Moore. Abigail?
Paris, if you can still hear us, I'd like to ask you, I can only imagine that some parents are about to get some devastating news. Have you seen families and parents show up at the scene?
Well, when we got here, I did see one parent. She, was very emotional. She looked like she was crying. Looks like she was trying to get down there where they had the road blocked off, and they wouldn't let her go down there, of course, because police are down there still processing this scene. So I have seen one parent out here so far looking for their child. So it is a very sad situation.
In Paris, give us an idea of where you are in relation to where the crash happened. This is Jessica Shambach joining Abby right now. Where are you in relation to exactly where this terrible scene unfolded there at Moore High School?
Well, we're at Main and Eastern, which is literally right across the street from the high school. So we're maybe a couple of blocks from where that crash happened, and they have the road pretty blocked off quite a distance from where we are now. So you can't really see anything at this point from where we are, but you can see a lot of police cars out here, and we did see the ambulance come our way once they left the scene.
So as you look at Paris's live shot, that is the parking lot of the school. Behind that is the field. Behind that is the field house. And behind that, there is a duck pond. And along that street is where we believe this crash took place. Now, we want to take you to this scene. I'm told this is photojournalist Brian Dixon. This is the location where they found the vehicle. Police telling us that the suspect, they are calling this driver a suspect at this time, fled, hit 6 students, at least 1 killed. We're told many others in very critical condition. He said injuries consistent with being hit by a car at a high rate of speed.
And you're seeing our crew just get their shot set up here. You see the crime scene tape that is up right now. This truck that fled the scene was found about a couple of blocks away, about 2 blocks away, according to police. And they're with that person right now, working on finding why did this happen? Is this something that was done on purpose? Was this an accident? What was it? You do have to question if the driver took off and they're a few blocks away. Police are getting those answers right now, but just a devastating scene at Moore High School. Police say these kids, this was after school, the kids were in a group together when they were hit by this truck. Police saying that they were either crossing the street or they were in the middle of the street when this happened. Of course, this is after school, and we know in high schools there are kids who are still hanging around. They have after school activities. They may have sports that they may be involved in, and just a heartbreaking situation right now. And sadly, a family is going to have to learn that their child passed away just after school today.
Honestly, it was hard to get the words out at first here. But yeah, like you said, so this call came in about 3:30 and the final bell rings right around that same time. And having spent a lot of time there, that field house area, the duck pond behind it, is a very popular hangout. Whether they're getting ready for practice or cheerleaders are warming up back there or whatever, it's a very popular spot. And we're still working to figure out why these 6 kids were either crossing the street or in the street. But again, a driver plowed through that location, killing at least 1. Several others in, quote, very critical. They're trying to get multiple Medi-Flighted students out of there. If you're not familiar, Moore High School is off of Main and Eastern. All of those roads in that area are shut down right now, and it was hard to hear from Sergeant Jeremy Lewis. We work with him pretty much on a regular basis. He's the spokesperson for the police department, and he just said everyone is shocked and devastated. Many of these officers, firefighters, first responders know the families and know these students involved.
This is a very close-knit community, and of course on a high school campus, so many of the families, they know each other, and so you know, for parents right now, I'm sure are just shocked and horrified to hear this news of what's happening at Moore High School right now. One child has died, and we know that there are others who are seriously, perhaps critically injured right now. We know for sure at least one is being flown to a hospital. They have multiple ambulances on scene at this point. This is near the field house area in front of a pond. It's an area where police say a lot of the kids kind of go after school, who may have after school activities. He said there are a lot of athlete students who are in that area. At this point, we don't know if these kids were athletes.
Sure.
We haven't gotten that information right now.
It's just a popular hangout. You know, whether or not you are, maybe you're friends with someone who likes to hang out down there. So we do not know. I asked Jeremy about ages of these students. He could not confirm that. We do not know gender. We do not know if they're boys or girls. And the reason we're calling them kids, yes, they are likely teenagers, but we know that they're juveniles, and we do not know their ages or grades at this time. All we know is sadly that one has been killed, 5 others in, quote, very critical condition. Trying to see what exactly, it looks like Brian Dixon has a shot of a couple individuals here.
And I don't know, and we'll have to see if we can even go to our photojournalists who are there on scene, and maybe they can kind of just let us know what they're seeing since they're up close and seeing this firsthand. We also have Sky 5 headed there right now as well, because we have 2 different scenes here. We have the scene where crime scene tape is set up, where there is the suspect truck that has been recovered, and there's a suspect in custody, and then the crash scene as well, where ambulances have been stationed there working on children who were hit today, essentially run down by a truck. Police say that that truck was going a high rate of speed. It looks like there's a live picture there on the right side where you could see some people congregating, and you see, I mean, it just looks like, you know, they're just horrified by this news, as anyone would be, hearing that a child was hit and killed and other students were terribly injured there just outside their high school.
Ooh, right behind the field house and right behind the field. That was the field that all 3 high schools, when I was there, shared that field. So it was a very common area. Moore High School is the original. Moore High School is the home of the Lions, has about 2,500 students going there. And this happened right after school let out. The call came, we heard it about 10 minutes. So just about every student was still there on campus. You're seeing some very, I would assume, shaken and upset teenagers learning that one of their classmates has been killed, at least 5 others in very critical, quote, very critical condition, injuries consistent with being hit by a car, and Jeremy said at a high rate of speed.
A high rate of speed, and this car was found a couple of blocks away. So
fled the scene.
Yeah, the truck left the scene of students who were injured here. One who was killed left the scene. Police were able to track down that truck a couple of blocks away, and I believe this is the scene that you're looking at here. I haven't seen the suspect vehicle yet, but I see the crime scene tape that is up just a couple of blocks from where this happened near Moore High School.
So that is the second scene where this driver was taken into custody as a suspect. KOCO's Paris Jones is on the original scene where this crash happened, just behind where he is standing. Paris, we're starting to see more students show up. What's the mood there? I'm sure everyone is just like we are. It's hard to find the words.
Yeah, that's right. And we saw a bunch of students come out of the school maybe just a few minutes ago. So I'm not sure, what they were doing, but a lot of them were just hanging out over there. You can see they were just absolutely devastated by what happened. You can see some were visibly emotional, crying even. A few students, even parents that we saw out here earlier just a few minutes ago. But even people who are passing by in their cars, pulling out their phones, stopping by, parking in nearby parking lots just to figure out what's going on. And also when they find out what's going on, that you can see they're just absolutely devastated. Like you said, a tight-knit community here in Moore. This is, a huge loss for everyone here.
Okay. And as Sergeant Jeremy Lewis, Paris, told us, so many of the first responders there are familiar with these families, teachers. I did want to ask Paris if he can still hear me. Jeremy was talking about the fact that they were trying to get several more Medi-Flights for these seriously, critically injured students. Paris, are you seeing more ambulances leave the scene or more choppers?
Definitely more choppers. I haven't seen any more ambulances than the original 3 that we saw when we first got here, and they all left pretty quickly, as you can imagine, when we first got here, maybe about 15, 20 minutes ago. But other than that, I've only heard choppers in the area. But ambulances, there were about 3 when we got here that left pretty quickly.
Paris, are you starting to see more people arrive there at school right now? Parents who may be, looking for their child, wanting to connect with them. I know kind of from where you're positioned, it may be difficult to tell, but it looked like there was a group starting to form outside the high school.
Right. Well, let me step out of the shot real quick so I can kind of see what is going on. You can see a group out there forming in front of the sports complex over there, as you were mentioning earlier. It looks like a group of students all hugging each other over there in that area. And like I said before, just a lot of traffic with spectators, people standing over here just trying to figure out what was going on. And there are parents I see pulling into the parking lots, cars driving to the parking lots of Moore High School. So, of course, they're going to be devastated when they hear about what happens, but hopefully they're all reunited with their students and their kids tonight.
All right, KOCO's Paris Jones, what they were zooming into, that is the gym, the sports complex, all of the indoor sports activities, and it is right adjacent to the Moore High School football field, the field house behind it, and then that popular duck pond behind that. Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge on the left-hand side of your screen showing us the scene, I believe, where they found the car involved in this. It looks to be a residential area. Again, the driver that hit these 6 students, killing 1, leaving 5 in, quote, very critical condition, fled the scene, was found a few blocks later. And I asked Sergeant Jeremy Lewis with the Moore Police Department, is it fair at this point to call this driver a suspect? And he said, yes, that driver is our suspect. That person's being taken into questioning right now, and the car has been taken in as well. Jess, what are you seeing? You're looking pretty close. What do you see over there?
Well, I was looking at the right side of the screen. We were kind of zoomed into a car that had damage to the side. We'd been saying a truck. Our crew on scene will have to ask them and see, I can't see police around any of the vehicles. It just looked like the car on the right side had some damage to it. So we'll have to get word from our crew there on scene exactly which vehicle they believe is the suspect vehicle. But yeah, that car looks like there may even be, some debris kind of hanging off of it. So we'll have to see if we can get confirmation from our crews there. But Sky 5 overhead showing, you see the ground scene and you see the view from the air from Sky 5. These 2 scenes you're looking at right now is where the suspect vehicle is located.
My producer Amy just confirming that it is a red truck that they are referring to as the suspect vehicle. If we see a red truck.
And there it is right there.
Okay, so that is what my producer is telling me is the vehicle responsible, or what they're calling the suspect vehicle at this time. So these 6 kids were hit by a large truck. Oh my gosh.
And not just a large truck, but a truck that was going, as police
fast.
told us, at high rate of speed. Not 100% sure what the speed limit is there, but you can imagine around a school, it's not very high, and especially in a residential area as well. And Sky 5 overhead showing you see the door open, and that looks like
surely they're looking in there, they're investigating. If Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge, Chase, if you can hear me, I would love to talk to you about what exactly you're seeing, because we have 2 scenes right now where these 6 students were hit, 1 killed, and then the secondary scene where officers say they found this red truck that was responsible. Chase, if you can hear me, just kind of give us a play-by-play of this horrific breaking news that we're seeing right now.
You said there are 2 scenes right now. Right here, we're showing you the truck. This is the suspect vehicle in that Volkswagen that you saw earlier. That is a vehicle that it hit and forced into the yard, and this is where they brought it to a stop. The other scene is back at the school where all of those, that senseless happened, senseless thing happened, senseless act, where those 6 students were hit and 1 killed. That's just heart-wrenching, and it's really hard to talk about, but still plenty of students gathered around the gym that you saw there earlier. We'll try to get that shot here in just a little bit, but still plenty of people on the scene. I'm sure parents are worried about their kids, and rightly so. I know I would be. But we're going to try to get that other scene for you here in just a little bit, and I'm going to send it back to you guys, and we're going to try to get back on that other scene.
Chase, just real quick before you go to the other scene, the other car that we saw in the yard, because we missed that part, Do we believe that that was involved as well? Did you say that the truck hit that car as well?
That's what we're hearing. We're hearing that the vehicle that you're seeing in your shot now, that Volkswagen there in the top left portion of your screen, that vehicle was just in the way of that red truck and was forced into the yard there, and then the truck was brought to a stop just a little bit further down the street and was surrounded by police cars. We don't know where that Volkswagen came from, if it was just on the street and just happened to be part of the accident. But we're going to try to gather more information about that, of course, and then we'll bring that to you. But that's the red truck that you see there that was involved in this senseless act here at Moore High School. And we're going to try to get, we'll get a little more information about this and then back over to the gymnasium to get some of those shots there of all the students gathered around there. Back to you guys.
All right, Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge and our photojournalist David Valaga up there. Guys, I will tell you, and we're going to be very respectful and careful because this is, again, a fatality, and there are some things that we are not comfortable showing at this time. So we know that they will be careful and respectful with what they show you from their Sky 5 vantage point. So we're taking these two different live looks here, one from Sky 5 as they move to the original scene where this student was hit and killed by that red truck at a high rate of speed. 5 others in, quote, very serious condition. The right-hand side of your screen, that is the Moore Gymnasium where they play basketball, wrestling tournaments, that sort of thing. And there has become kind of a gathering of these students trying to grapple with exactly what happened, who was impacted. Sergeant Jeremy Lewis with the Moore Police Department could not give me specifics on ages, grades, anything like that. Of course, they want to make a notification, the family getting the worst possible news that you can get. And then Chase, going back on the left-hand side of your screen, that is the duck pond, and that is the streets. We're being very careful where these kids were hit, one hit and killed by a truck going fast.
And you can see from Sky 5, you can see they obviously have that road blocked off right now. They have a fire truck there, police patrol as well. I was trying to see if I see any ambulances. They may have already headed off to the hospital because at this point we're coming up on the 4:30 mark. This call came in around 3:30, so it has been an hour since this happened. You see an ambulance right there that's still on scene as well, and you see some of the EMTs and officers there just beyond the crime scene tape. Just a horrifying scene outside Moore High School. We know at least 5 students were hit, maybe 6 according to police, and we know that 1 was killed. And these injuries, they say, are pretty severe. We know at least 1 child had to be flown to a hospital, and perhaps they were trying to fly others as well. They've had multiple ambulances on scene, paramedics working on these kids. Police say some critical, some with serious injuries. To the right side of your screen, you see the gymnasium where some of the students have been kind of gathering. This crash happened just after school had let out. So think about after school lets out and what it's like. You still have a lot of people who were hanging around, especially in a high school. There was a lot of after school activities. You may have some sort of athletic activities. And at this point, we're not sure why this group was together and what they were doing. Police say they were either crossing the street or they were in the street when they were hit by a red truck that took off and continued to go at least a few blocks before police were able to stop it.
What you were seeing, and you were talking about just the large amount of students that still hang around after class. The shot that we have from Paris's live shot, that's the student parking lot right outside of the field house. And there were still a lot of cars there from those students. If Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge can hear us now that he is over this first scene where this catastrophic crash took place, again, being very careful what we show. Chase, walk me through what you're seeing. Are you seeing any medical helicopters, ambulance, first responders? Are they working on kids right now?
Guys, you know they are. We do have first responders on the ground. We showed you that ambulance before, and we're seeing a number of fire trucks. So the fire department is here, and this extends the, all of the things that we're talking about, the students that were hit. It looks like it's all along that street that goes from the school to where that vehicle is now. And so that we're, like you said, we're being very careful about what we show because it looks like it's along that street right there where it happened. We're going to get more information about that, but that's what we're seeing up here from our vantage point. Still students gathered around the school, and I'm sure the school's doing their very best to get information out to the parents right now. But this is still a very active scene as they try to unravel exactly what happened here and what led to having this person act in such an aggressive way that brought 1 student to his death. It's just heart-wrenching. But there's the shot there of the gymnasium with all the people gathered around. And this, I'm sure, is where they're going to start sending out information to the parents and all of that. But an active scene in numerous different places along this whole street right here. I'm not sure what that street is, but it runs just along the south side of Moore High School. And you can see all the students gathered there, and I'm sure a lot of parents gathering too and making their way to Moore High School. So we're going to try to give everyone the best information as we get it from the station. And there, we have a team back there that's working to gather all that information for you. And when we get it, we're going to pass it along to you. I know you guys are going to do it too. Back to you guys.
And Chase, stay with us for a minute. We do have ground crews we're going to get to in a moment, but we want to continue to talk to you, Chase, if we could. I mean, just, you think about as a parent when you hear this sort of news and what it must be like when you're probably racing up to the school to find out some information on this. I'm sure they're desperate to find out which students were involved here. And Chase, we're starting to see more, people kind of milling about the parking lot there. I'm sure students and parents, maybe, some of the staff from the school as well, who are learning about this devastating news. We know a lot of this area is blocked off. I don't know if you can pull back and show us what have you seen just as far as people who may typically be driving around this area at this hour. It's getting to be close to the afternoon rush hour. What are you seeing as far as the roads? We understand that police plan to close off much of the side streets right around this area while they're investigating.
Yeah, that's right. That street that runs just to the south of Moore High School, that is Main Street. So East Main Street is blocked off almost 3 blocks to the east of the high school, and then all the way to the that main street that runs right in on the west side of the high school. So you can't get through on Main Street, and like you said, a lot of those side streets are blocked off too as they work to process that the active scene. It's obviously a crime scene now. There's plenty of crime scene tape up around that red truck that is the suspect vehicle in this thing. So this is gonna be blocked off for a while. So if you live in this neighborhood, you're gonna have to choose an alternate route if you take Main Street to get out of here. But it's gonna be a few hours, I can imagine, until they get this thing wrapped up and get the investigation completed. And it's going to be a lot of work for the Moore Police Department and for the fire department right now as they sort through all of this. Back to you guys.
Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge, thank you. And as Chase said, we're being very respectful because they are still working to save some students' lives. So that is their first priority right now, not getting us information. That is obviously their first priority, and we want it to stay that way. Let's go now to our photojournalist, Brian Dixon, who is at the second scene where we are told again that this driver took off after hitting 6 students, killing 1. Brian Dixon, if you can hear me, I know you're at this second scene. What are you seeing? Crime scene tape and some police officers, but what exactly is going on there?
Okay, we'll see if we can get him up. He may not be able to hear us right now, but as Abby said, this is the second scene here, and this is an area where police have stopped a truck. You can't see it in this view, but there's a red truck that police say is a suspect truck just a couple of blocks away from where this deadly crash scene happened, just outside, just off of the Moore High School campus. You saw a police officer in the shot. We'll have to, see if when we get Brian Dixon up, just let us know. First, we, though, want to get an update from police. Let's go to Sergeant Jeremy Lewis with Moore Police. And Jeremy, we talked to you about 30 minutes or so ago. What can you tell us now? What is the update on these at least 6 kids who were hit in this terrible crash at Moore High School?
Not a whole lot update right now, other than 5 of those have been transported to OU Medical Center. As far as conditions, I do know some of those were in very critical condition. We do have the 1 student that is deceased. We have a suspect and the vehicle that was involved in this crash in custody and detained at this point. Investigators are working to determine what happened, and that's pretty much where we're at right now.
And so, Jeremy, you said of the 5 kids who were injured, they're all at the hospital right now.
Either at the hospital or on their way. We had numerous ambulances transporting them at different stages, but yes, they should be either there or arriving soon.
Jeremy, I hate to ask you this. At this point, is it still 1 fatality, and we still have others that are fighting for their lives?
As of right now, yes, that's one fatality. That person was deceased when we arrived.
Okay.
The others are were taken to the hospital.
And at this point, have you been able to talk to family? Have you notified the family members whose students are involved in this crash right now? How are parents getting information?
Right now, we have numerous officers and investigators here. Our concern right now is trying to determine what happened and kind of preserve this scene. There are a lot of school administrators here that are assisting with identifying the students involved and reaching out to those families. There are a lot of families that are arriving at the scene. The school is kind of helping with that and freeing up the officers to work the actual crash and the actual crime scene right now.
What would be your message for parents wondering if their students were potentially involved in this? They appear to be showing up at the school. Will they be getting a notification from you?
The school will be getting a notification to them. They have the ability to do that. I believe that they have administrators in the main gym of the high school. Parents can go to that location if they're concerned that their students were involved. As fast as information passes these days, I think a lot of parents have heard from their child at this point. We don't have a lot of parents arriving here anymore, but if they are concerned, they need to go to the Moore High School main gym.
Okay.
And Jeremy, we have Sky 5 live over the second scene where the red truck is stopped, the doors open, the crime scene tape is up. What can you tell us about the scene? We've seen another car that looks to have maybe been involved in a crash as well that was pushed off into the yard. What can you tell us about what happened when this truck fled the scene and was stopped about 2 blocks away?
I have not had a chance to get to that scene. Just speaking with the officers over there, they did confirm it was an adult male driver that did not stop at the scene. We were given information as to where that vehicle was, located it very quickly. This is not very far from our actual police department where, we had it was right at shift change. There was a lot of officers coming and going, so our response time was really, really quick to this. So we were able to get that vehicle stopped, and they are treating that as a crime scene over there as well.
All right, Jeremy, it's Abigail. You said the driver, it was an adult male. We have a few people wondering, is it a possible student, 18-year-old student, or a former student of Moore High School? As
far as the identity or a former student, I don't know. They did tell me that it wasn't a current student. I believe the person is old enough that I did ask if it was a student at Moore High School, and they said no, it was not.
And Jeremy, let me ask you this. It looks like the passenger side door is open on the truck. Did this suspect stop for police? And it looks like we see the suspect, or at least we see someone in cuffs right now. Police are patting down, I should say. Someone looks like an adult male, who police have in cuffs. They're patting down as Sky 5 is overhead. Did the person, did they surrender without issue? Did they take off? What can you tell us about when they took this person into custody?
They did not stay at the scene. They were located at that residence. As far as if that's their residence or how they ended up there, I'm not sure. We weren't pursuing them. We found that vehicle at that residence, and officers were able to take the driver into custody pretty fast.
Sergeant Jeremy Lewis, I can, we know you. We work with you on a daily basis. Almost I can hear the emotion in your voice. And one of the big questions people are going to have when they see this, they're just angered and they want to know why. Did this driver give any kind of motive, or was this intentional? Do you know that information yet?
I do not. That's something that we definitely are working on and should have that pretty quick. But as far as what happened, there's another vehicle close to the scene that was also struck. I don't know what. I'm not sure what transpired that caused this, but we do have people that are working on that, and we want to know as well. And it is tough. We know a lot of these students, all the administrators. We work closely with them, so we'll do the best we can to figure this out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking to see a scene like this and hear the news. You know, children who, you don't expect this as a parent. You send your child off to school and you expect to see them after school as well. Jeremy, I just wanted to ask you one more question. You know, this is 4:30 right now. We're coming on a time where people are going to start coming home. A lot of the roads in that area are closed off. How long do you expect to have the roads blocked off, the crime scene tape up? What should people know who maybe live around this area as they're making their way back home this evening?
The main street from Eastern to Morgan is closed right now and most likely will be closed well into the evening. There are 3 or 4 side streets that go south off of that can be accessed from 4th Street if they live on those streets. Poseidon, Silverleaf, Avery, they can access those from 4th Street and get home. There really isn't any residences that are closed off that they won't be able to get to, but we do ask, obviously you're not going to be able to come east on Main Street from Eastern.
All right, Sergeant Jeremy Lewis, thank you for taking the time to talk to us and to get this information out to the public. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are watching who may be worried and no doubt just shocked and just horrified by this news.
If you're just now joining us, about 4:30, about an hour ago, a call came out that a car has hit multiple students, and unfortunately, we know at least 1 student has died, 6 others taken in very serious critical condition to OU Med. A live look here at the scene. That red truck, we are told, was the suspect vehicle involved. The driver left the scene, allegedly, and was chased down to this location. This location, again, that was from Sky 5. This is the ground crew, and you see the impact. It looks like a window busted out on that van, and then the gray car sustained a lot of damage. Sergeant Jeremy Lewis from the Moore Police Department told me that those kids were hit at a, quote, very high rate of speed. So it's just a devastating one tonight, and we saw so many students gathering at Moore High School outside of the gym. This happened near the field house and the duck pond that's behind it, and it's honestly hard to report tonight.
It's horrifying news.
We're
Okay,
told
we're
the
just told
suspect
the
is
suspect, yeah, so Sky 5 overhead right now.
on the right-hand side of your screen. We were told by Jeremy the suspect is an adult male. We asked if it was a current student. He said he was told not current student, not sure if a possible former student, but everyone, of course, is wondering why and what the motive is here. Can Chase hear us?
Okay, well, I do know our producer's telling me, okay, the person they're walking with right now is not in handcuffs. They were put in the vehicle and then just taken out of the vehicle. So police are walking with someone right now, going back over to where the truck is. Again, this person is not in handcuffs right now. So we'll have to see exactly, what is unfolding here. Police walking this person just past the suspect truck, perhaps taking them to another patrol car.
Someone at least detained there. Sky 5 pilot Chase Rutledge can hear us. Also, photojournalist Mark Frickland in Sky 5. Chase, what are you seeing? Kind of strange, this person being taken to and from different police units.
Yeah, it is very strange, and usually when it is a suspect, they've got him in handcuffs, and this is somebody that they had by a vehicle earlier, and they're walking him towards where the scene happened. So we have to be very careful about calling him a suspect at this time until we do see some signs that they're going to put him in handcuffs, but he's either very distraught or very disturbed right now. So we're going to keep a close eye on this, and then if they do cuff him, it looks like they're giving him a sobriety test right here. So more than likely this is the suspect, and it looks like he's intoxicated or under the influence of some substance. So that could have played into what happened here, which is still senseless, and he'll be treated so. But again, heart-wrenching to know that we do have 1 loss of life, and then others that are fighting for their lives right now here at Moore High School, and the students, I'm sure, are just flabbergasted, wondering why this happened and what the reasoning was behind it. But clearly, if alcohol or any kind of other substance was involved, this is just another senseless act here at Moore High School. Back to you guys.
Just awful. Chase Rutledge up in Sky 5, our pilot, thank you for your coverage today. Of course, we're going to continue to learn more information as time goes on. This terrible scene unfolding about an hour ago, And this is just the beginning of what we're learning.
Yeah, the field sobriety test taking place right there. We are told that was the driver, according to police. But if you're just now watching, 6 students were hit by a car at a high rate of speed. One, unfortunately, was killed at the scene. 5 others fighting for their life at OU Med, which is our trauma center. So that's where they were rushed. We're taking another look here at this sobriety test. We're gonna take it off air, gather more information from witnesses and from officers at the scene. Stay with KOCO 5 News. We'll have the latest for you tonight at 5 o'clock on a suspect, possible motive, and of the utmost importance, the conditions of those children fighting for their lives tonight. We are with more, no doubt about it, more strong.